right, what's up, good people? Welcome to another Beards of War movie review. Today's movie we're going to do is 2022's SISU. This movie is directed by Jalmari Helander and the key grip, Aki Rustapuro. I apologize if I got that wrong. This movie is basically about a Finnish commando who is going up against some familiar enemies, universal, just so to speak. Basically, your Indiana Jones enemies, if you know what I'm saying. This guy is basically kind of picking up where Indiana Jones left off with that. And these people need to be taken care of, so he's going to do that for us. Before we get into it, though, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by Rowan Industries, a veteran-owned company that strives to provide better gear for better operators. They design products with only necessary moving parts, no excess fluff, and simple functionality. So, when you're over shopping at Rowan and you get to the checkout section, put in BOW in all caps and you receive a 15% off discount from your friends at Beards of War. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Hey, what's up? It's Chris. So, man, this is an interesting movie. I don't want to give it away too early, but good movie, man. Good movie. These guys did a great job on this. So, yeah, it starts out in Finland around 1944, I think it is, with this guy mining. So he's out there with his poodle. That's pretty dusty, and his dog, and like a Native American teepee setup, and he's mining for gold, right? So he used to be a Finnish special forces guy, and twists and turns in his career, and he just ended up deciding, hey, I'm gonna go mine, and he ends up finding a big hunk of gold. So he's just, man, I gotta get this thing turned into cash. I gotta liquidate it. So the only thing he can do is head towards the nearest town, which happens to be getting bombed out by those enemies, right? Those guys from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, we're clear now.
Yeah, yeah. Them guys they got the scalps off of, and he's heading in that direction with this gold that he found, and he ends up running into a band of Nazis that end up, it looks like they're leaving from that town, and he's on his own, right? So these guys decide that they're gonna stop him, kind of pick on him, right? He's a lone dude out there, and it just turns into craziness from there. So they stop him, gets off his horse. They're like, "What do you got in there?" "Oh, he's a gold miner." "Yeah, let's see what he's got in the saddlebags." So he sends his dog off. His dog's like, "Yeah, I don't want any of this business." And they tell him to get down on his knees, and he snaps back into his past. And dude, when I say he snaps, he turns around on this one cat and puts probably a 6-7 inch I don't know if that was a Bowie looking knife right through the guys from temple to temple without fail, and just commenced to whooping up on these dudes. He killed probably, I think, 3-4 Nazis before the other guys came back to see where are the guys we left back there to kill that guy on the horse. And then it really started to kick off. But that's where I'll pass it over to one of the guys to let you get into that action.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said, it's one of those things where you make a choice, right? Those guys had a choice to make, and they made the wrong one. Old guy just minding his business. He's on a horse. Number one, you have to kind of consider that to be maybe a little bit of a sign, because he's just casually walking by us, and we're hearing tanks and trucks and all this stuff, and I don't know where they got the gas for this tank, but they're just driving around, land, whatever. And he's like, okay. And I think the word that set him off was old man, because I remember he said old man, and you see his hands just like his fist kind of clenches. Next thing you know, boom, Bowie right through the head. Okay, I'll show you old man. It's like one of those, I'm going to show you old man, right? And then, like you said, it just goes completely downhill for them after that, man. And he's Bowie knife, to the head, and now you're in the minefield, right? Of course, I will say this for you animal lovers. We lost one of our beloved pets. It was not the dog, but we did lose the horse. And horse kind of gets blown up by a landmine. The guy miraculously survives that. So, again, suspend reality for this. You have to, in order to enjoy a really gratuitous, violent movie, you have to suspend reality. There are multiple times where, they could have simply shot the guy, but then you got a 5-minute movie. So this was basically just creative ways to kill Nazis, and I was here for it.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Ed.
Yeah, like, rest in peace.
Wilbur. Oh man, the best way I can describe this movie is it's Inglorious Bastards with less dialogue. It's everything you want in a movie, man. It's just good, wholesome family fun. I mean, who doesn't love killing Nazis? Grew up on Wolfenstein. What can I say? I'm a product of my environment. The movie's fantastic, man. Cut and dry. I don't need a lot of plot, but man, that minefield scene is just awesome. And I don't know if anyone's ever put an anti-tank mine into the ground and put it to use, but those things aren't exactly light. So, like, the first time you see that anti-tank mine, like, whiz through the air, it's just absolutely gorgeous because you know what's about to happen. It's all the best parts of action movies.
Right.
It's just complete chaos, and I loved every second of it, man. Going to this movie, we're probably like, I don't know, we went and saw it when it first released because it came out on the John Wick 4 trailer. I remember that.
We knew it was going to be good. We
And the critics' score of like the review said on the trailer was like the best time you'll ever have watching Nazis get destroyed or something like that. And I was like, absolutely, I'm in. Let's do this.
That's it.
And this movie's just a great time. Like, yeah, shut your brain off. Not to like Fast and Furious 10 level, but I mean a good 5, 6. Suspend reality because it's definitely going overboard. But it's fun, man. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, and he's definitely there for his gold.
Yeah.
You know, like that's his. Yeah, man, you can't separate a veteran from his benefits. All right, that is not what you want to do, and these Nazis found out the hard way.
That is
all right,
his disability check, service connected.
Right. Like, no, dude, you don't understand. Like, I have all the service connected disabilities. I've done my paperwork. My DD 214 is solid. Just leave me alone. And they just had nah, we're gonna do that. We got to get this guy right now. It's like now it's personal, right? Now this guy sends his own Nazi counterparts out into the minefield. Like, yeah, you and you just go walk through the minefield. I'm like, oh, okay,
beautiful.
Right, okay. Beautiful. And it's like, yep, go ahead. You know how this is gonna end up, right? Now, of course, they're driving around the countryside with a truck full of women that they picked up. Obviously as their captors or whatever, their captives, and that part comes into play later. It was kind of good to see those ladies get their comeuppance, and they apparently are versed in driving every type of vehicle because they eventually end up behind the wheel of a tank, and they're just driving. They're like, yeah, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm like, how do you learn how to drive a tank? Like, where do you get this like knowledge from? But it was just watching that scene, watching him like basically try to evade these guys, because at this point he's just trying to get his goal, get the bank. That's the whole premise of this movie. I got to get to the bank, make this deposit. These guys are just trying to get in my way, so I got to do whatever I got to do, to get through it. And then you have the scene where he's under the truck, and they have the dogs out now, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to just douse myself with gasoline from underneath the truck to kill the scent, right? And then after that, literally lights himself on fire in order to escape. Like, who would think, okay, this is the best thing to do is to light myself on fire? And then he jumped into a lake, and now you got kill scenes in the lake, so he's like Neptune / Namor, you know what I'm saying? And he just goes commando.
Yeah, so it must be the Finnish soft, right? Like back in the day, I guess that's some of the stuff that, the TTPs are teaching those guys. Like, all right, this is how you get them off your scent. Gasoline, right? What I want you to do is dump this on yourselves. But, I mean, yeah, just to back up a little bit, man, I think one of the best parts that kicked off that whole mine scene was when he had a sniper up on a tank, and the lead German dude was like, yeah, shoot him now. And right before he pulled the trigger, he throws a rock at a landmine, and it blows up, creates this massive, fog. We'll call it fog, not dust cloud, but fog. And then they shoot into that, right, because they can't see him. Everybody's opening up with automatics, even the snipers just taking random shots. And I guess I could summarize this entire movie as a giant collab. Eric kind of hinted at it, but between all the stuff that was going on, right? So he's blocking on the other side of this cloud that neither can see through with his sifting pan for gold, and it kind of looked like a shield. So I'm like, all right, you know what? That's like Captain America. So I'm like, this is a Marvel DC mashup because the guy, well, yeah, maybe, yeah, kind of, but you got the Marvel DC kind of a mashup with, whether it's, the Wonder Woman, Captain America thing. You got him riding on the motorcycle, catching himself on fire. I'm like, dude, that's Ghost Rider. He jumps in the water. He's killing the guy. He's breathing through the guy's lungs underwater. I'm like, that's Namor kind of. I'm just like putting all this together in my head. I'm like, dude, it's a giant mashup between Marvel, DC, And then you got the Nazis. Well, that's Cobra Commander, and they come like G.I. Joe. We got all our cartoons, all our greatest hits.
Rail.
What's that?
Rail.
No, that again. No, it's not really rail. It's. I mean, I saw that in this. I'm like, dude, how awesome, is this movie that it not only kind of captured me and made me want to watch it the whole time. I was completely locked in, even though there was very little dialogue. But it made me flash back to like all these great memories I had of cartoons, and I'm like, I could see all of that in this, which I know that wasn't their intent. But that's how it resonated with me. I'm like, dude, I can't help but love this movie. I thought it was freaking awesome. And then how he just kept, like, the guy was indestructible. I think that was kind of what the Russians, I forget the name that they gave him. It was something like, invincible or eternal or something, because he.
Immortal.
Yeah, immortal. He had like, Bobby Yaga, yeah, he had like 300 kills. Even their commanders, like, look, you guys coming out of base. That guy, you don't want to mess with. Like that's the wrong person to mess with. They had a,
and he's not a young dude, man.
Him.
This guy is 60.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a young man running around doing all this stuff, man. And just to watch this dude work. And like they said, when he's part of the special forces for Finland, they couldn't control him. This guy had a personal vendetta against the Nazis because they killed his family. So it's like, okay, dude, just go out there and do what you do. And that's exactly what he did. Like, he didn't answer to anybody. So now it's personal. Like, these guys, there's no option to get away at this point because he's already honed in. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm killing every last one of you. Even when they tried to run, which was way too late. You guys should have been running, like, a long time ago. Like, scene 2, you should have been out of here. No, we got to get this guy. We got to get him. And they tried their best, and it did not work out. They even tried to hang the guy. Like, the guy could not be killed. And that was pretty much like the superpower, right? Like, he
healing factor
could literally come back from anything, man. I mean, this guy has scars that were like almost like a cadaver scar. I don't even know where that came from, but
the dead guy that he threw on his back to use as like
a shield
like
from a 50
moving
cal.
cover. Like,
That's right.
Absorbing the I think it's a Russian machine gun that they had the belt fed on the tank. But yeah, they open up with that thing.
And we know what a 50 cal can do.
Yeah,
it can cut through everything.
As we aim for their equipment.
Yeah, isn't that what everybody does?
Shooting at the canteen.
Right.
Dude, the pickaxe, right, into the bottom of the plane.
Oh,
Thor, right? Like, for him to hold on, that thing should have fell through.
Oh, man.
Once it took off.
We jumped over the motorcycle part, though.
Well, I mean, I kind of mentioned him, right? Ghost Rider. But yeah, everything was insane.
Oh,
everything.
Fantastic film.
And the women were awesome in this. They're like, and I think probably where they learned how to drive all that equipment, it's kind of one of those battle scars, I guess, like being in war so long, like people got to learn how to, to drive anything, picnic. So I think that's probably how they fed it in, subconsciously, like, hey, yeah, in that environment.
People actually know how to drive sticks, so.
You know how to do everything. And, dude, and then I'll let somebody else hit the plane piece. But, damn, man, this movie was great, dude. This was a great movie.
Yeah, plane sequence, I mean, gives it away in the trailer. Obviously, the pickaxe comes through the belly of the plane, so he's coming for the final guys. Random schlub pilot, of course, and standing by to receive the rescue team, or the rescue team or whatever the Nazis were, to get them out. And obviously, it was a deal because they knew about the gold. So him and the final SS officer gets on the aircraft, and our boy's coming for him, man, and coming for him good. And it's glorious. It reminded me of Dr. Strangelove a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah,
dude, that fight.
And they hear that noise, man.
Great.
They hear that noise, and it's like, this isn't good. Like, they knew it was a problem. Like, okay. I don't know what that noise is, but it's not good. And before that, like, the guys following behind on the motorcycle, they're, like, looking at bodies as they're passing. Is that Jeffrey? Like he's just, like, killing people.
Is that Professor Opie?
And when they finally catch up to him, they're just like, nah, I want no parts of it. Like, they just dropped their guns and just took off. Like, nah, man, this is already, I give up. I have you dead to rights. I mean, honestly, you had a motorcycle with guns, and that's how much, at that point, he had become, like, legendary to them. Like, he has killed everyone they have tanks, they have machine guns, everything. He's overcome it all. And I'm gonna, with my little 2-seater motorcycle, nah, bro, I don't want none of that smoke. And then they just, like, hauled ass. But, yeah, going back to that plane scene, once he gets on there, you think, okay, there's gonna be an awesome fight. He literally just gets whooped, right? And it just shows you you can't take me out. Like, you can do everything you can do. He just could not take this dude down. I think that was even more of a, like a realizing moment. Like, who is this guy? Like, I can't. He's taking everything I have. He's not even giving it back, but he's just taking it. That's even more like scary. Okay, he's not even throwing punches at this point. He's just taking a beating, and then he gets him at the end by hugging him up to the bomb. So.
Bro, he beat him to death with that piece of like static line hook.
Oh, dude,
and he was hitting him in the face. And I know he should have died 100 times before that, but that should have opened him up completely. And when he set back up off the floor, like he was possessed, dude. He set back up and looked at the guy like, dude, you are.
Like, that's the best you got.
I think it was a static line hook that he was hitting him with.
Yeah,
Any jump masters in the audience, throw that in the comments, would you?
Yeah, it was
square me away.
Static line. It was probably 3 foot worth of line.
Yeah.
And the hook. And
then the actual nomenclature for the hook. I don't remember what that is. I just remember it's a static line hook.
And then he hooked him into the bomb.
Oh,
and the guy's cussing at him on the way down. And then
it
explodes. So at least the ordnance was still good.
Right.
One of the scenes we kind of glossed over a little bit was the ladies of the movie, right? And there's this awesome sequence. And what I liked about the movie a lot, too, was their use of dialogue. Obviously, our hero of the movie hasn't spoken a line yet, which is fantastic. It kind of goes back to the old, like, Clint Eastwood spaghetti western days, like, Good, Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, stuff like that. So I appreciated when they used dialogue because it was either to convey the chaos the Nazis were dealing with, but there's this awesome scene where the women that are being held hostage by the Nazis finally start to peel away. They know that this Finnish commando is out there and they know what he's capable of. So it was almost like a twofold approach or prong that I loved. The lead female actress, when she was talking to the Nazi that's guarding him, and he's been like the scumbag, the exceptional scumbag of the group, this whole time, starts feeding into that fear. And it's almost like she's doing it like to mindfuck the guy a little bit, like, getting inside of his head. But I think she also realizes, like, if this is my end, I know that his end is going to be worse. And I'm just going to put the fear of God into him before my time is over. And I loved it because it worked so well.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't there already, it was there at that point. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that, and I don't know if this was done purposely, but everything the Nazis were saying was in English. No subtitles. So you they want you to know what the antagonists are thinking or why they're thinking or what they're thinking. So you didn't have to read it. You just kind of saw it. They told you the story. Now, when you come down to the commando, all his communication is through action and violence. So it's clear. It's clear where he was in this whole thing. But they're like, at one point, the hubris, oh, man, we'll get him. It's just nothing. Now it's like, dude, we got to get out of here. Like, he told us to leave. The general gave us instructions, like, you don't want no parts of this guy. This one guy, man, we'll take care of him, whatever. Oh, now it's like, let's get out of here. Wait a minute. Where was all that energy back there, bro? Like, when we had 30 guys, now it's down to you and the pilot who've been shot in the neck. You tell him, like, if you're not dead, fly the plane. Like, okay. Like, how long is that going to last?
Yeah,
then the plane crash happens.
The gold miner just tore apart a tank, a Luftwaffe pilot, and, like, a platoon of infantrymen.
Exactly.
So, plus he set himself on fire. So, I mean, just keep going. Maybe your luck will increase.
Right. And at the last but not least, survived the plane crash into a swamp. Like, I don't know what this muck was, but the plane literally goes nosedives into the earth and disappears. So it's not a lake. It's
like the bog of eternal stench.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, even if you make it out of the plane, how do you get out of that muck? It's almost like a tar pit. Like, what? Like, this guy is literally unkillable. And he's not even limping. He's been shot in the leg. He's been shot in the side. He's been stabbed. Everything. And the guy's just walking off like it's nothing.
Yeah, he impaled his thigh so he could stop from it being hung.
So I'm hanging. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
dude,
okay.
He tied himself down to the bench inside the plane with static line. And then that thing nosedove. It wasn't like, it kind of landed at an angle. It went into both engines went down, and it went into a straight down nosedive into that bog. And like, I thought the movie was done. Like, when I was watching, I was like, dude, the guy's dead. He went through a lot, but he's dead.
Right,
now.
Like, he finished his mission. Right.
No, the healing factor kicked in. The Deadpool
the
in
mission
him
was not over.
Hashtag Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, dude, and it just, the healing factor just brought him back, and it was game on.
And then you got the best part of the movie, man. He just gets on the motorcycle. He's got his dog. Ladies, you can relax. The dog survived. My girlfriend, the entire movie, was like, "Oh my God, where's the dog?" I said, "Are you missing all the violence?" Like, okay, we'll worry about the dog later. But she was only worried about that dog, man. And when she saw him on the motorcycle with the dog, she's like, "Okay, now I love the movie," because she was on the fence. And then he pulls up to the bank, just walks in there, with his gold. Just the tellers, everybody's just moving out this guy's way at this point, and he just drops all the gold on the counter. And he's like, "Large bills, please." Right, this is too much to carry. It'll be lighter.
Only line of dialogue. It's
Right.
perfect.
And that was a perfect ending to that movie, man. It was like I needed nothing else. Like that was perfect. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable movie, man. It's for you guys who just love, like I said, gratuitous violence. This is the movie you want to watch. There's not a whole lot of that. Like I said, not a lot of dialogue, but it was well done. It was fun. It was creative. Like the kills were creative. And just to see this actor, Jorma Tommila is his name. At 60 years old, 60 plus. God, get this shout out to him, and obviously his stuntman or whatever. But the guy's still out there doing work, and this movie was a lot of fun. Even didn't do great at the box office, but that's usually because it just doesn't get a lot of play. A lot of people aren't talking about it, so that's why we're talking about it here.
Yeah,
because we feel like, especially the veteran, you would like this movie. So I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, like Grant mentioned, man, it's a version of Inglourious Basterds. So if you like that movie, you'll love this movie, man. It was great, and I think they did a really good job with that lack of back and forth dialogue. It was just really one way, right? And the Germans constantly talking to him or talking amongst themselves. The girls did some talking, but man of very few words. And I'm sure after he left the bank, he probably had some words off screens like, "Yeah, I got to go see a man about a horse." No pun intended. But, that way that the horse makes it back. It would be great if there was a part 2 to this, but I don't see how they could potentially do it.
That horse is glue.
But, yeah. Man, great movie.
Yeah, I'm going to refine my comparison from earlier. Inglourious Basterds meets Crank. I think now that I rethink about this movie all over again, I'm like, yeah, definitely.
There you go.
Inglourious
I can
Basterds
get with
meets
that.
Crank.
I can get with
fantastic.
that.
Love the movie. Absolutely loved it. Can't recommend it enough. And where is it streaming right now?
On Hulu. I did view it on Hulu. It does have a link to Stars, so you have to have, I believe, a Hulu premium subscription.
Okay.
Definitely worth it. Like if you want a movie to rent, I would waste the money. It's not a waste,
it wouldn't even be a waste.
but I'd spend the money. I'll say it that way. I'd spend the money for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you look for it in other places, pretty much it'll show it's on everything, but everything's going to link you back out to Stars. So I think Stars has got it kind of on lock. Okay. Like I try to get it through Amazon. I try to get it through YouTube, and every one of them would take you to the Stars link to get get your 30-day promo. So Stars has got it on lock.
Yeah. I mean, if you spent money to go watch Avatar: Way of Water, you've got money to burn. So watch this movie.
It's
thank
only
us
like
for it.
$3.99, $5.99
Exactly.
max.
I wish I could get all my Avatar money back.
All right, people. Well, let us know what you guys think. We definitely want to hear from you in the comments.
Gotta do our score, man.
Well, we're gonna get to the score. I'm just saying we want these people to get involved. We guys want your scores. We're gonna score it ourselves, but we want to get your scores. We want your input. It does help us with content. So with that being said, I myself gave this movie an 8. It was a really tough between 8 and 9. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, gratuitous violence is my forte, and this one was very good. So what do you say, Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be a little rough on it, only because the one part that kind of threw me off was him not like being shredded into pieces from being strapped into that plane when it crashed. Just kidding, guys. Dude, the movie was great. I gave it a 7, man. I gave it a solid, it was between 7 and 8, and I'm like, yeah, a 7. A really strong one though, really strong 7.
Well, if I was going to quote or potentially say that B.J. Berkowitz, Blaskowitz, whatever his name was, Wolfenstein, would 100% approve of this movie and in all of its Nazi destruction. And I gave it an 8. And it was a hard 8. I was similar to Eric. I was weighing back and forth between an 8 and a 9, but settled comfortably on an 8. So 9s and 10s are special to my heart. So fantastic movie. Can't recommend it enough. Go check it out.
All right, guys. So that brings Sisu in at a strong tie with Dune at second place for 7.66667. Repeating, of course. Looking good, man.
Okay.
So nobody is still the winner.
Yeah, nobody's hanging in there at a solid 8. All right, guys. Well, yeah, yeah, that kind of does it for us, man. We look forward to seeing you guys again. Oh, shout out to there's one of our followers named Lou. He wrote a nice dissertation, but he threw a score in there if I'm not mistaken, right, guys? He gave us a score. So yeah, if you guys feel free to follow suit, throw some scores in there, see where you guys rank it, and maybe that's a conversation piece in the comment section. So without further ado, hey, this is Chris signing off. Beards of War out. You guys take care. See ya.
All right. Dick Fury.
Last but not least, Fat Broken Rambo. Guys, have a good one.